For the best Italian food in Western New York, Elliott Apollo's, call 716-825-3675. The Lardon Construction Group.
Fubo TV, the official streaming service of Do Champions. FanDuel, the official sportsbook of Do Champions.
For all your summertime needs, beauty pools, as well as kayak pools.
CX Chronicles, your total customer solutions focused manager. W.GG, the official energy drink of Do Champions.
Hey, Sons of Erie, our artwork looks better on your walls. Hamburg Brewing, please visit our tap room on Boston State Road, Hamburg, New York. And finally,
Fat Boy Surf Club for all your surfing needs. All right, and welcome into our second day here at Jeremy Kelly's football camp. Why not you? I am one of the hosts, or one of your hosts, Matt Diegert, and
I would say, why is it me? Fucking hot out here.
It is, but we have a nice tent today. We're in the shade here, so it's real nice. Let me tell you, man, I miss some of this stuff, getting coached up for football, hitting guys, and just kind of learning the game. I'm sorry. Like
I love that you're like I miss football. I love miss hitting guys. You can still hit people. It's just like you're gonna catch a case.
Yeah, you won't catch a case out here. Like you're gonna hit somebody in the mouth and you're gonna enjoy it.
I mean, in any other, I'm gonna go right into it. In any other facet of life, Myles Garrett is going to prison. Always topical, Matt, everything you need. I am student body right, and as it was stated before, we are out West Seneca West High School in the greater Buffalo region. Jeremy Kelly, head of alumni engagement for the Carolina Panthers. Alumni relations, the Legends community, something he built here in Buffalo. He came back, and he's still serving Buffalo. So yesterday we got into it. We got into kind of how this really just brings us back. It's not the same, Matt, as fresh cut grass, because everything is synthetic now. But there's nothing synthetic about the energy and some of the personnel and the people returning to the community. To impart more on charitable endeavors going on in your community. Monday, it's the Elliott Apollo's golf outing at Wanaka Country Club. Always sold out, but if you want to come in, you want to support the scholarship fund, one of which I sit on. Credit to me. Always will tell you how great I am. Matt's, I'm just ad-libbing.
That's why you suck.
Is your mic plugged in?
Yeah, it's on.
Why can't I hear you?
I don't know. I can hear myself in my ears. You're all plugged in.
Yo. You're just a little low.
Maybe.
There it is.
Holy cow, that was
everything.
Maybe it's the wind. Maybe it's cutting out the wind. Who knows?
No, it's all just hot when we speak. And then June 22nd, it is the student body Rght Harrison Phillips. Talking about people coming back. Bocce tournament that is long sold out for the player passes, but the social passes are on sale for $40. We had upwards of Matt. What $598 last year?
Yeah, 600, right around 600 last year.
Fifth year doing it.
Expecting as many people, if not more, down at Soleil. It's an awesome time. Come join
down
us.
at Woodlawn Beach. So I mean, there's a lot to do, especially as this weather fucks with us. I feel like every time we get a clear day, the day starts raining, right? And anytime I have a clear and free weekend, it is raining. But
right.
as the weather breaks and we start to get into the brilliant months, I gotta be honest with you, Matt, where's your mentality at with you're kind of a lifer of this community? I've not for any other reason. I've lived a bunch of different other places. I've lived overseas and stuff like that, and that's kind of what drew me back. But do you ever get depressed that you deal with 8 months of absolute ham hock weather for like the 3 months of like brilliance?
I mean,
I know it is magic here, and if you're a football fan, it extends to the fall, the magic. But once that first winter storm hits, the worst part about the first winter storm is
that it's
the asshole that fucking tweets we need a dome.
Yeah. Well, we're not getting that now, so definitely.
This is why we can't have nice things. So anyway, we'll talk about PSLs. I talk about PSLs a lot, but I'm actually kind of being serious. Matt, do you have any idea when PSLs actually started?
Oh, we went over this.
I know, but it's worth talking about again.
I feel like it was like early 90s or right around there. Like,
what team started them?
Carolina,
where Jeremy Kelly is. It started, in 1993 with Charlotte's Bank of America Stadium. Where I'm at, and I'll articulate it again. If you're crying about PSLs, you're a small market. If you're crying that you're a 25-year season ticket holder, put your season tickets together in StubHub. You don't need this. Isn't AA. You don't get like a 25-year sobriety, sobriety chip. I feel like there's so much performative nature in the fan base, just to say like I'm 25 years sick. If your asses are in the seats, because we're of the volition that the 12th man matters. That's why I hate the Buffalo Stampede, because they take away 8 yards of seating right next to the tunnel currently, where fans can make a difference. But if you truly are a fan in your heart of hearts that thinks they can impact the game, just piece together your tickets on StubHub. If you can't afford PSLs are expensive. I mean, Roger Goodell didn't really even understand them. He came out. You remember that press conference? He came out and said, PSLs are a great investment. And it says in the fucking perspective,
this is not a
viable asset class.
Right.
And the guy's got a Juris Doctorate from, where's the JD from? I know he went to Washington and Jefferson.
I'm not 100% sure.
Jake, check that. Anyway, that's day 2 of that joke, but that's never going away. But that's where I'm at with PSLs. And, there was a lot of mystery as to what they're going to bang them out for. What are the payment plans on those things? Do you know? And if anybody's listening right now and can impart their payment plan, is it stretched over 12 years? And
I'm not 100% sure.
I know when I priced them out, they wanted $24,000, and that is spicy. Yeah. Especially because, move your feet, lose your seat.
Right. Yes. I mean, it's something that they definitely want to take advantage of, because it's definitely a good way for them to make money.
Make money.
It is. No, it is for the NFL.
No, it's not. It has nothing to do with the NFL. It's everything to do with fucking creative financing to finance a new stadium.
And that's making them money so that they can buy the new state, so they can finance the new state. It's all kind of.
Are we struggling? I know, but there's 2 parts of where I'm going to go with this. Thank you for taking the bait. I know you're kind of playing dumb and you're fucking around with electronics. I'm not, no drinks on the desk. But a personal seat license, it's a one-time fee that grants the holder the right and obligation to buy the season tickets. And it's over a 30-year term, man. The club level seats are anywhere between $8 and $50K. We've heard for general reserve, $7,300 around the mezzanine. Recent sale. I mean, unless you're in early access for present ticket holders, and the amenities depend largely on your seat, location. By the end of 2024, I think something like 11,000 PSLs have been sold, and that generated 128 million. I think like a lot of things are behind a shaded veil, especially selling a stake to an ownership group. The ownership group of which you just saw them speak to the team, Vince Carter. What was it? T-Bat? Is it Tracy McGrady?
Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter, and 7 or 8 other people. I think the group was 10 people deep.
Yeah. But what was interesting? And not to bring up something I don't care about, is that, do you think the same people that were afforded an ownership opportunity at One Bills Drive were also afforded an equity stake with the Buffalo Slugs? I'm asking you.
The Sabres?
Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly, I am. I'm not.
But not to dunk on you before, by the way, PSLs inherently are for teams to raise upfront capital to offset stadium construction costs.
Right. Because I mean, look at it. How much did they say the new stadium was going to be? 1.4 billion,
which is cheap.
It's now up to 2.1 when it's fully completed. And now
failure to prepare is preparing to fail, right?
And now they're saying that the stadium won't be completed. And I understand the justification for it. But they're saying the stadium won't be complete until December. and they're getting the occupancy in July.
Right, but here's the thing that dummies don't know about PSLs. Yeah, PSLs, you know, because fans pay a large fee up front, they're economically committed to renewing their season tickets. That's called price stabilization.
Right.
And if you get a PSL today, it's going to cost more tomorrow. There are going to be higher renewal rates. And it affords long-term stability and term planning for concessions, for parking, for staffing. Yeah, I'm an economics guy, spend a little time with that. PSLs actually reduce the reliance on taxpayers. Mm-hmm. So everybody, and we had Senator Sahowski on. For everybody like bitching and griping about the PSLs, a lot of that money comes from downstate. The 8 million people on that island, where a lot of that come with public funding may still be part of the stadium's financing, and PSLs kind of help justify smaller taxpayer contributions. Here are the trade-offs and criticisms. There's a barrier to entry, like we just talked about. I'm a 25-year season ticket holder. That means something to a lot of people, especially when they're passed down for generations. There's speculation risk. Some fans buy PSLs expecting resale profits that never materialize, and there is market saturation. If a team performs poorly or interest wanes, PSLs can lose their value, creating friction with fan loyalty. If this team goes to zero, the first thing they're going to attack is the PSL they paid to play.
Right.
So that was kind of a long diatribe I had, but I'll stand on that. Anything you disagree with I said?
Not in the least, honestly. I mean, I am completely against PSLs. I know I was playing a little dumb, but I mean, it's truly like the dumbest investment out there. I get it, but and I don't even want to call it an investment. Like
it's not. I mean, here's the difference: upfront capital with the PSL model, it's high. Yeah. With the traditional model, it's low. Season ticket retention, PSL model, high.
Yeah.
Traditional model, you can cancel anytime.
Yeah.
Fan cost, PSL,
high.
Traditional model, lower. Flexibility. Traditional model often non-transferable, but if you have a PSL for 25 years, you create a better resale market, which
Yeah.
And it offsets public funding. So I'm talking very loud, but economics is the jam. So that's the end of my diatribe. Anyway, if you guys want to hear me teach microeconomics, I'll be at ECC in September, actually. So, Maddie, you said something earlier to me. As I was writing down notes, trying to make the wheel squeal, and you muttered under your breath, and I just fucking ignored you. What'd you say to me?
I said I miss being out here, and I'd love to find a way to be able to get into coaching because there's a lot of things to be able to teach these kids that's above the X's and O's part of this.
All right. Do you admire people that stay with the trajectory of football?
Yeah, absolutely.
We had Pat Deneke on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that guy's got like 4 different degrees in education just because he got free college as a GA. It's like GA. If you're nobody from like a D3 school, aka Nick Sirianni, aka Brian Polian, right? Aka where did Andy Reid play?
The punt, pass, and kick
he was
competition.
Right? I admire people that stay with the game, right?
Yeah,
and stay with it. Did you know your last game was your last game?
Nope.
Talk to me about it. Would you have done anything differently?
Yeah, I would have taken care of my schoolwork more times or more than anything else because I only took care of it during the football season so I could play football and didn't have that person in my corner to say, "Hey, dumbass, like go make sure you're taking care of everything throughout the entire year."
Well, that's a big thing that I'm getting to is the people that stay with football is sometimes they embrace the structure of which the game gives you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We talked to Tony Richardson yesterday. By the way, if you haven't checked that out,
Yeah.
Great interview. He talks from going from the structure of being a military brat in Germany. He talks about the structure of having a military father. He talks about the structure of playing in the SEC at Auburn.
Yeah.
To being an NFL player, right? And remember, I asked him about the loss of identity when you lose the game, right? And he's like, yeah, I did feel a little bit lost. And then I went up and looked at his educational stats. What did we find out yesterday?
He is like one of the most
impressive humans ever.
Yeah.
Undergrad from Auburn in education. He got his MBA from Weber State, and then he goes for shits and gigs to your school,
Ohio State, yeah,
to get a JD. That's structure. So what I want to talk about is, staying with does life just happen and football becomes less important, and you have to have moments like this, Matt, where you're reminded of everything the game taught you?
Yeah, I mean, on a lesser scale for myself, it's you got to find something that's gonna be your next career or your next thing, especially when football's not in the cards for you.
But sometimes you don't even know you're making those decisions.
No.
When did you make the decision to be known as a defensive lineman? Because I'm gonna say you did not give a shit about offense.
I mean,
you were a D tackle.
I played both ways in my freshman year. I played left.
Pause.
I played left tackle and I played defensive tackle, and I switched when I got brought up to varsity, I switched to just defensive tackle.
I'm gonna make you do it. Maddie was a good football player. Maddie had some offers. You want to talk about it? Or no?
Nope, I do not.
I do. He had offers from my mom to come over to dinner tonight. You in? But you asked me a question about what I told you pre-show. What'd you ask me?
Yeah. So the question I asked, because we got into the topic about me, and he student was being a little facetious about glossing over my question to him, or say my statement to him about coaching. We got onto it, and he said that he had all but one offer to play in college, but they were all but one was for tight end. And I asked him if anything would be different for him if he had taken those offers to play tight end, just to be able to get into college to go play football and continue that career.
And I'm going to give you my answer, and I held it.
Yeah.
When I was in college, I played where I played because I should have played there. And I took it seriously. I didn't drink for 18 months. I never missed a rep in the weight room. I did extra stuff. I did everything.
Well, hold on. Let's be serious. We can't say that because you did admit yesterday after the sophomore year with the.
Oh, I'm talking about. I told you my last 18 months.
What? No. I was saying because you admitted to that you said for 18 months you didn't.
Last 18 months when I was taking it as seriously as possible.
Gotcha. I misunderstood what you were saying.
I remember when I was in college, and this is hopefully a story I haven't told before, is it was at the University of Albany, my last game. I remember very vividly, we were facing, I guess, the side of the end zone or whatever. I remember sprinting my heart out because the game's over. Sprinting my heart out for 3 straight plays in a row. And I remember going into the grass end zone, kicking it up and putting that grass, in my helmet. Now I trained. And, what did I run? A 4.6, 4.64. I benched the world and everything like that. I was not even close.
Yeah.
Some of my friends made it, Tom Attiano, Miles, Jose Guns, a little guy named Chris Hogan, Jeremy Kelly. I was not even close. So, man, I just wish I had one preseason game.
Yeah.
And if we're talking games here, man, the one thing we traded in here and starting this network is, do you miss going to games?
No.
You went to one last year.
I don't miss it. I am very perfectly fine with my with my 110-inch projection screen in the basement and sitting down there feeling like I'm at the stadium.
Right there, headphones on. And speaking of FCS football, this is a guy that started in Orchard Park. He's sacred to the community, he's sacred to the game, and he's sacred to the heart. We got Mr. John Cordo. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing great. It's great to be out here with these kids and give back. The game gave so much to me over these years, and it's just fun to get back out here. I mean, it's amazing. The juice is keep flowing.
Yo,
I'm
he was
40
just
years old, but I still got some juice left in me when I get on this field.
all right. Yo, I'm going to ask you. You brought it up. Gun to the head. We line you up at that goal line, and
Can
I
I
stop
fill
it.
ISO?
No, no. I'm going to make it even simpler because there's no, as you know, even if you're a special teamer, there is no play in the game where you're running an unabridged straight line for 40 yards. What are you running your 40 in right now?
Oh, geez, I couldn't tell you. It's
Oh no,
not what it used to be. I don't line up and get clocked right now. But I did. So when I was coming out, I think I clocked a 4.5. You know, so
4.5
enough to get past the test and
that's why you were the hybrid linebacker and safety.
Correct. Yeah. So it depended on what defense we were in. If you're in a 3-4, I was playing safety. If you're in a 4-3, then I'd come up and play linebacker. I'd play like weak side.
What is in transitioning, because you're a UDFA, right?
Yes.
How hard is that path, but how grateful are you for that path, being an FCS football player, getting the chance at UDFA and maximizing the pants off it?
Well, it's extremely difficult, and it's crazy because I took a huge leap of faith. I left Sacred Heart, and I don't recommend anyone doing this, but I did not even graduate, and I went and pursued. So long story short, my parents had bought a house in Sarasota, Florida, and basically they're walking the dog one day. And at this point, I always wanted to play in the NFL ever since I was 3 years old. Okay, so they knew, and I was getting to senior year. I don't know if we had a great season that year. Sacred Heart was
the NEC's a little wishy-washy.
Yeah, it's gotten much better, football as we speak now, but it's hard to say. Hey, a lot of people aren't coming out of the NEC, every year. Now it seems like they are more and more. But basically, my dad's walking the dog, and he's like, "You'll never believe who I just ran into." He's like, "This person." He's like, "What do you do for a living?" My dad's like, "Oh, I own some day spas and salons up in Buffalo, New York."
I can't wait to hear where this is going.
My dad goes, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" And he goes, "Well, it's kind of unique. I actually train people for pro days for the NFL Combine." Now, at this point,
that's big business.
It was right after my senior year. I thought I had just been done playing football, and I'm like,
was it 2007?
I have no direction. It's not like scouts or hey, you're gonna be drafted, you're on the radar. It's none of that. I think I was able to get All-American in the NEC, but that doesn't really mean much when you're talking to the NFL.
Guys like us in the FCS guys, there's always that caveat, the leg out. I played Division I, but you know what I'm talking about.
So I took, my parents were like, what? I think there's a sign you got to get up here. And I was like, okay, I packed it up and I went all in, right? All in. So I was going for it.
Every minute's accounted for.
Yeah. And I'm working out twice a day, and I get a chance to do a pro day. And I was with Mike Goff, trainer down in Sarasota, Florida, and just trained with him religiously. Did well on the pro day enough to get an opportunity with Cleveland as just a walk-on, like rookie camp, pretty much not even a camp body. This is before.
Oh, I'm familiar. So they didn't let me keep the shorts.
Yeah. So I'm in that. I'm playing safety for the first time. Really played linebacker in college, and I'm kind of a fish out of water. I'm learning it. They can tell that I can play, but they're like, "Wow, this guy's never played safety before." Don't make the team, and for whatever reason, the Buffalo Bills at that point in time had their mini camp or their rookie camp a week later. And I was pretty discouraged, coming after that Cleveland thing. I was like, man, is this another one of these?
Well, you go from the highs of all NEC to American, to being the bee's knees, to being like you said, a fish out of the water. Yeah. That's gotta mess with kind of your self-worth and kind of like your place in the hierarchy, right?
Yeah. So I learned enough in that camp to kind of translate, knew what I did wrong in the Cleveland camp, and I did enough to get invited to the Bills camp. And that was a huge win because there's about 80 people, people that are invited to this.
So they'll send as many invitations as the bride will let them.
Yep. And there was 2 of us that actually got signed to go to camp. Mm-hmm. And from there, man, oh man, it was a long journey to actually get on that squad. You know what I mean? I was a guy diving for balls left and right in practice.
What was the moment they told you?
It's actually someone's misfortune. We had a Alvin Bowen was a 5th-round draft pick for the Bills, and he was a linebacker. He had blown out his knee in practice.
Well, you also had Mario Hagan too, right?
Yes. Yeah. Mario Hagan was on.
How your headphones do you?
I just got to adjust it. We're good there.
We'll get to Strive in a second.
But it was kind of his misfortune. But then they come to me. I'm playing safety. That's not really my main position. And they're like, you know what? You played linebacker in college. And I'm like, oh, this is exactly what I wanted. It's their decision to move me down. So they're like, we want you to play 3 days before the Pittsburgh Steelers game. We want you to play linebacker. And I'm like, yes. Like, I hadn't been practicing there all camp.
Wait, you're like, yes? You're not like, okay.
Oh, yeah, because that was my position.
This is why I didn't make it.
And that's where I excel.
Now, is this preseason or regular season?
This is preseason.
Okay.
And I got the nod for that, and I pretty much started that game. They wanted to see what I could do, and I played well that game. I mean, I was
clearly,
yeah, and that was it. From there on, I had made a roster spot. I played a lot of the rest of the preseason, and then I earned a spot on the special teams. Right.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it's something palatable that I feel. Did you ever deal with imposter syndrome, kind of like?
Do I belong out here?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I think, at first you certainly are like, man, do I belong out here? And I think, one of the things I realized is that, after going against a guy from Alabama and Florida State and actually beating that guy, you eventually start saying, I do belong here, right? In practice. And I think you get a lot of that from the reps that you get every day, right? At first, though, you're like, yeah, it's a big step up, right? The playbook's huge. You're learning a ton.
I mean, some people are arguing about what number they're going to wear, or like what helmet they're going to. And you're just like, am I going to be here? Am I going to be here tomorrow?
Yeah.
And honestly, how did you get the relentless belief in self when you're not going to get too many attaboys in the NFL? Well, NFL, not for long, right?
Yeah, I think it started early. I mean, my freshman year, I was 115 pounds. They did a bench press test freshman year, and I could barely do a 90 pounds one time. We did the 40. I was slow.
Not a 4.5.
And I was no, definitely not a 4.5. And the only reason I made the team, they still tell this day, this story today at Orchard Park, was when we did a nutcracker drill, and we just started hitting, and they saw that I wasn't afraid to take anyone out. But other than that, they had me cut. So I always had a chip on my shoulder because I always had to fight for everything I got. And I think that just translated. And as I got bigger and I grew and developed even in through college, I don't know, you just learn to fight because you're always in it.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, and that's definitely something that, a lot of guys don't understand or don't know is the fight that it takes. The fight that it takes to actually, make it. I mean, it's a lot different than what, to make your high school team or make your college team. It's even harder to make the NFL.
Well, but it's also a lot different. That moment where you were a little boy once, like you admired, you weren't too far off, like that whole story about Joe Andreessen wearing Matt Milano's jersey and stuff like that. It's conceivable that some of the people, because you play on Saturday in college and then you watch your pro team on Sunday. Some of the guys you were cheering for mere 2 years later, you're sharing a locker with. What was it like the first time regular season active roster running out of that tunnel?
Crazy.
Emotional.
Emotional. You're so the adrenaline. I tell people the adrenaline that you have before a game and during a game, you can't. You're
not getting that in Connecticut.
It's very hard to sleep, and I think that's why some guys have some issues with that because
really?
The adrenaline is so high to come off of a game. It's very difficult to.
Are you just ruminating about assignment? You're ruminating about the pressure.
And you're so hyped up and you're so focused that sometimes you don't always appreciate it. Like I look at it back now and I appreciate it even more than maybe I
in
did
retrospect.
In the and I was talking to Joe today, who's on the team, and we have a very similar story.
He's a Bryant guy, NEC.
Yep.
And then UB, yeah.
Yeah, and he was from Lancaster. We were from Orchard Park, and we used to play against each other. And I said, hey man, just enjoy it because it's very easy to get caught up in the stress knowing, hey, am I going to be here tomorrow? Is this going to be my last day? And you always you try you as an athlete you learn to be positive and always think the best, but in the back of your head, they're bringing in people from all over the world, the best athletes
Not for long.
for your position. So you always got to be on it.
I actually got 2 questions for you. So first one, how do you actually watch the game? Is it any different for you now? Like watching
are you
the
like
game, or-
they're in 12 personnel? They're in
Yeah,
11
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because you're
That never
immersed in
leaves
it
you.
for years, and you can really appreciate the game and what's going on and what they're trying to accomplish and who made the mistake. You can pretty much tell.
You ever feel weird watching with mom and dad and they're like, oh come on, catch the ball. You're like, mom,
Shut up.
mom, they're in robber right now. Okay.
You know, it's I wish they had a little bit wider lens when you're watching the film. I know why they don't do it, but like we're used to watching the wide in the
play
in the room,
pause.
right?
Yeah.
And you can see every player on there. So it's a little difficult to watch it on TV, but when I go to a game, I can pretty much dissect what they're in and what they're trying to do and who made a mistake or who made the play. Yeah,
and you can never vocalize it because the emotion sometimes rises a little bit higher than the education.
So the other one is like, how did you learn to stay positive and stay positive in the moment? You know, because like you just said, well, not only that, but like you just said, you don't know what's next for you, or like if you're going to be cut or if you made a wrong play. How do you stay how did you stay positive?
It's an interesting dichotomy because it's like you say it's tough to live in the moment, but you have to have momentarily positivity to stay in the situation.
You just get used to being under pressure situations all the time. That's all I'll say to that. Like you just get it doesn't become, it's not easy, but you're living in a state of you're always pressured to perform and be at your best. Because you do not have the luxury of a first round draft pick and you get 3 years automatically. And even if you're flopping, they're going to give you 3 years to make sure that
you're a little cushion,
right? You make a mistake as an undrafted free agent, they're gonna be like, oh, that's why he wasn't drafted, right?
Isn't that a touch like when you exited? Did you feel almost a little bit of the pressure to what's the next step? What's the next phase? Because you hit the ground running with Strive.
Yeah.
You hit the ground running with your numerous business ventures. What can you package from your professional career in athletics to your professional career in business?
It's easy. It's never give up. I mean, you struggle for years. A lot of people are like, oh, you got this booming business now. Well, for 5 years, we didn't make a ton of money at all. And I'm filling machines.
You're worrying about the team. You're like,
and people are asking me for a free bag of chips. And you go from, playing in front of 80,000 people. Like, hey, give me a free bag of chips, Frito-Lay guy.
I gotta make payroll.
Yeah. Right. And so it was a humbling experience, but one that only makes you better. And at this point, I can tell every one of our 80 employees, like, 80. Hey, I did that. I filled that truck. I was a service tech. I worked in the cold room. I did every
no job is beneath you.
And they appreciate that because I appreciate them because I've been through it. But what I would say to that is that probably nothing's been harder than starting this business from the ground up. Even comparing it to the NFL, but I think it got me prepared. All the challenges that I went through, all the pressure that I went through, the things with the business didn't seem as much, right? And so I think it just prepares you for anything life throws it at you when you're under that pressure.
How full circle was it being like the underdog in your athletics and the underdog in business, the underdog in athletics making the NFL roster and the underdog in business going and winning a Silver Play Award?
So I think,
and that's for innovation in the food service industry, right?
Yeah. Thank you. It was a nice award that we won last year. It was quite the honor, and
I love that you said we, the team.
Well, it was the team, and my wife has been with me all along. She's an accountant. She's a CPA, so she certainly helps, right? But it's been a long struggle to get there, but now everything's going in the right direction. And I always knew it was going to work. I knew that we would get through it. I knew that, better days were always ahead when we were going through it. And it was tough, but we just had to grind through it. And that's kind of what you did in football. That's what you do in sports, and that's what you do in life.
And how did you set yourself up for success?
I'm going to go ahead and say he's going to say maniacal belief in self
after transitioning from football to what you're doing now.
Well, I thought when I got into business, I was like, wow, I was involved in the Play 60 initiative, which encourages kids to be active, play 60 minutes a day. Did a lot of talks with a lot of different high schools.
Yeah,
in
you
the
do
area.
a ton of youth mentoring.
And I'm like, wow, this would be an easy transition for me because I've already been talking about this, and they need healthy options in schools, and we need more access to healthier food. And I thought there was a huge need there.
Mhm.
So I think I just, I logicked that out that was going to be an easy sell for us in business, and I thought that there was a huge need for it.
Would you say you're a pioneer?
Yeah. Wow, look at this guy.
My
Beautiful.
MBA hangs over my toilet where it belongs, as I always say.
No, Sacred Heart was a great school. I think I made exactly the right choice, and the reason why I went there was because I was able to play lacrosse and football.
My teammate Chris Hogan.
Yeah, I was actually recruited for lacrosse.
Gene Tundo.
And not football.
Tundo was your coach, right?
Tundo was my coach. Tundo was a great coach. And it wasn't for the Empire Games where you got all the coaches from all across the country going to at that point in time.
Were you guys in the same conference as Albany?
We played Albany, yes.
Like the Thompson brothers?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, they're
it's their game. We had this debate yesterday. Is baseball America's pastime, or are we at the social progression where we can call it lacrosse? So,
and actually, it's funny you say that. Bill O'Brien is on our team now. So Bill O'Brien plays for the Bandits.
I thought you meant Bill O'Brien.
He was
Bill O'Brien. Yeah.
He was the enforcer for the Bandits for quite some time, and he actually represented the Thompson brothers for quite some time too. So he's working for Shrive now.
It's crazy that this is kind of a sidebar, but not totally a sidebar. The Thompson brothers have that partnership with Nike.
Yeah,
and you see a ton of wide receivers wearing it in the cross branding. And I want to bring it to your brand. What is your brand, John Cordo? What do you want to be known for across all of your endeavors in your 40 years of life here? If you had to surmise it in anything, whether it be a quote, whether it be an optic, or whether it be a mantra, what is John Cordo?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that our business mantra is a relentless pursuit to serve others. And so
I think you might have stole that from St. Francis, but
it's a great one, and I'm Catholic, and St. Francis is one of my favorites. So maybe I did get it from that. Right. So
St. Francis 06, baby.
Relentless pursuit to serve others, wraps it up, because I mean, even in our business, whatever it takes mentality. I know a lot of our food goes to donate to the East Side. We donate to St. Luke's every week.
St. Luke's Mission.
Yep. And so that's part of our deal, right? We try to make the world a better place, certainly Western New York a better place, and give back to the community.
Is this your little guy right here?
It's my oldest right here.
Get down here real quick. Now you're becoming a young man. I see the metal in your teeth. Yeah. Do you have any idea how cool your dad is?
Yeah, I do. He's really cool.
Convincing. Anyway, this is the Do Champions Network sponsored by. So we want to thank John Cordo for coming in ad hoc in here. He's a guy I wanted to get in front of a lot. He's a guy for the brand, whether it be Jeremy Kelly, whether it be Western New York, whether it be Why Not You. Interesting acronym. But homegrown, but where he was planted, he has budded, and he's going to make sure his seedlings also grow. Want to thank you a lot, John, for coming on, and nothing but a pleasure.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for what you guys do.
Thank you, John. Good to see you, man.
Right, take care, guys.